The 3 little ones eat 300 pounds of rocks every day, and I have to eat 200 pounds along with them. Don't let their adorable looks fool you once they bare their fangs. Even steel bullets get crushed effortlessly. Don't be fooled by their fluffy appearance. Their fur is impenetrable. With my current strength, I can't even handle 1 pow-pow, let alone 3 at once. Plus, they're extremely sensitive to the scent of their own kind's blood. If you hurt one of them, the other 2 will charge at you without hesitation. So taking them down one by one is simply impossible. To survive, I can only blend in with them. Whatever they do, I follow. The reason I came to this dangerous place is to make a lot of money. Becoming a returnee is undoubtedly the fastest way to get rich. 7 years ago, a mysterious tower appeared out of nowhere in this world. People get randomly transported into the tower. Later, only a few returned, and no one knows what they experienced inside, because those returnees refuse to reveal any information about the tower. But every single returnee becomes a highly sought-after person in society. They possess magical powers that ordinary people don't have, contributing greatly to society's development. Simply put, once you become a returnee, prestigious companies will pay top dollar to hire you. As a useless person, I never planned to get involved in this. Until one day, I heard the orphanage was facing closure, and the old director could only hold on for 3 more years. Scenes from my time at the orphanage flashed through my mind. But even if I, Kim Jae-ju, worked 10 jobs a day, I couldn't earn even 1/100th of the orphanage's operating costs in those 1,000 days. If only I could become a returnee. The moment this thought crossed my mind, my phone started buzzing with notifications. My first reaction was that my phone got hacked. But curiosity got the better of me, so I opened the first file. The person in the video looked exactly like me. He was battling through level after level. I don't remember filming anything like this. The sudden appearance of Popoys caught my attention. I remember a returnee once mentioned this creature by mistake. When I saw myself standing at the top of the tower, I confirmed this was a video of my future self clearing the tower. The first video showed 2 years from today, so that should be when I get transported into the tower. To prepare for that day, I trained my body every day. I also memorized all the information from the videos. With this knowledge, clearing the tower would be a piece of cake. When the day finally came, I still wasn't completely certain. I could only pray that the portal would appear. The orphanage's future depended on today. Fortunately, after a long wait, the portal appeared as promised. I stepped through without hesitation. For difficulty, I chose hard mode. A wave of dizziness hit me when I opened my eyes again. I found myself in a small mine shaft. Thankfully, I'd seen this place in the video. I opened the system interface. It only showed viewer count and mission information. These viewers are other returnees inside the tower. They can enter live streams of floors below their current level and donate, giving the streamer trading currency. Those viewers are essentially making investments. Because when their donated streamer reaches certain floors, the donating viewers also receive gold coin rewards. While some people might just be bored looking for entertainment, that doesn't matter to me. Seeing viewers enter my stream, I bowed. Welcome to my live stream, big brother. The viewer named The Love immediately donated 1 gold coin. I quickly opened the shop. Seeing how sharp I was, he donated another 3 gold coins. He asked if I wanted to spend the coins right away. I said I needed to observe first. Since I didn't know what enemies I'd face, my wise decision immediately earned his follow. Of course, I had to thank him loudly. With 50 minutes of prep time remaining, he decided to check out other streams first. I waved goodbye, big brother. Make sure you come back. I was being so accommodating because of the follow mechanism. In this tower, each person can only follow one streamer. To follow someone else, you have to unfollow your current streamer, and reaching 100,000 followers gets you a special reward. Before I knew it, viewer count reached double digits. This was thanks to choosing hard mode. Newbies rarely grab attention otherwise. As prep time was ending, the chat became much livelier with people saying it's about to come out. I actually knew what they meant, but pretended to be curious. They couldn't spoil it or they get kicked out by the administrator. I originally thought those returnees were intentionally hiding information, but the video showed me there's a powerful administrator in this tower. The returnees must have been threatened, is why no tower information leaked out. As I pondered this, only seconds remained. I apologized to viewers saying I might not be able to chat much during the challenge. This gesture earned their approval, and the big brother who first followed me returned to the stream. Time hit 0, mission eliminate all enemies. I saw 3 spinning portals beside a boulder. The portals were so small. Maybe kobolds? While I was thinking, 6 adorable eyes appeared. I froze in place, speechless. Not because they were cute, but because beneath their cute appearance hid fangs that could bite through anything. Even the stream viewers didn't think I had a chance. 1 might be manageable, but 3 at once meant certain death. Because they hate anyone who harms their kind, taking them on individually was impossible. I understood the viewers' reaction. Though I knew the truth, I still pretended to ask if they were dangerous. The big brother said he'd check other streams, but I figured he might not come back. I tried to remember Popoy's behavior patterns. While they weren't aggressive monsters, this circling while ignoring me was too strange. I cautiously extended my foot to test. I could see they weren't attacking me, but were definitely on guard. I didn't want to fight them unless absolutely necessary, since I'd lose anyway. Best to see what they wanted first. So I followed them, learning to circle the rock like they did. During this time, I noticed the big brother who followed me had returned. Maybe he was curious why I hadn't died yet, but I also figured out the Popeye's intention. They wanted to fill their bellies with that glowing magic stone. Right now, they were just performing their exclusive dining ritual. I seemed to understand their mood now. This was them accepting me. If I wasn't mistaken, they'd invite me to share that magic stone. Sure enough, they stopped shortly after. Then they revealed those terrifying fangs. The seemingly indestructible magic stone crumbled under their bites. My heart sank, but I had to join them to survive. So I also grabbed the rock and started munching. Surprisingly, the rock wasn't hard at all. It melted in my mouth like chocolate. I immediately felt endless energy surging through my body. In under 10 minutes, we ate the magic stone down to crumbs. Then my body began glowing with a faint blue light. The 3 little ones danced around me happily. The viewers thought they were about to eat me, but the next moment they were all stunned because the 3 little ones not only didn't attack me, but playfully climbed onto my shoulders. A window popped up. You have passed the trial opening passage to the 2nd floor. I didn't expect this would work, so turning enemies into allies also counts as eliminating them. But then I collapsed unconscious. After an unknown time, I woke to see the 3 little ones staring at me curiously. Their expressions seemed worried about me. Seeing me wake up, they became ecstatic. Stream viewers expressed disbelief. I opened the info panel. Surprisingly, viewer count had reached 127. After the shock, I humbly thanked them. Thank you, everyone. I couldn't have passed without you all. They wanted to know how I thought to imitate the Popoys. If I said I knew them well, no one would believe me. So I could only say fighting them seemed deadly. So when I couldn't win, I had to join them. In the end, I was just lucky, barely managed to fool them. I pretended not to know about rewards, said I planned to head to the 2nd floor. Sure enough, they thought I was a clueless newbie. Everyone reminded me about unclaimed rewards in the chat. I looked confused as I opened the window. Clicked once and a gift box dropped out. The viewer seemed surprised by such a large reward box. I immediately opened it. Inside was a stone, a name change card, and a small bag. I first picked up the stone to examine it. The potpourri beside me immediately rushed over. I quickly lifted the stone higher. This looked like a magic stone. Normal magic stones are transparent blue, but this one was white, so the viewers couldn't tell what it was. Trading it could get 5,000 gold coins. Feeding it to the Popoys would be wasteful. I could only gently tell them I'd give them something better later. The name change card and coin bag were pretty ordinary. I greeted the viewers, big brothers, I'm heading to the 2nd floor now. After speaking, walked toward the portal. But the Papuas ran in a different direction. The viewers didn't know why either. I had to follow them to the stone wall. Without a word, they bared their big mouths, then started gnawing frantically at the wall. Soon, they chewed out a passage. I didn't dare enter immediately, but I heard them calling me from inside. After greeting the viewers, I crawled into the hole. The narrow passage kept scraping my skin. Viewers said it looked painful just watching. Actually, I felt no pain at all, more like being massaged by stones. In the dark environment, my arms suddenly glowed. I pretended to panic, what's happening, big brothers? But people just teased me. I knew this should be Knight's power from eating the magic stone. Returnees all changed classes on the 5th floor. The light I was emitting was Knight's power from becoming a knight. But as someone new to the tower, I couldn't reveal knowing about post-5th floor events. After crawling further, I finally emerged from the hole. The three little ones were discussing something around a necklace. Viewers told me to grab it before they ate it. That was my plan anyway. But when I picked up the necklace, the three little ones got agitated. This was rare equipment. Wearing it brought good luck and could prevent one death. I'd seen this in the video. The me there survived the 15th floor thanks to this necklace. But this should be equipment from floor 10 plus. Poor little ones had worked so hard. Still, I pretended ignorance, saying this obviously looked valuable. Stream viewers all teased me for being a clueless newbie. The big brother who followed me told me to wear it first. I had to say, this big brother seemed to have quite a status in the tower. Thanks to him diverting attention, I followed his advice and put on the necklace, then crawled back. Reaching the portal, the three little ones insisted on coming with me. I was more than happy to have them along. I confidently stepped forward, but didn't expect. This looked like a coliseum. The second floor only had 10 minutes prep time. Without hesitation, I opened the shop to find useful equipment. But choosing gear depended on what monster I'd face. Since I chose hard mode, bad luck would bring a fire-breathing red-brown bear. Defensive weapons would be best. If I was luckier and got a sea serpent, just avoiding its tail and buying any weapon would work. Looking at the three little ones riding on me, if the first floor was this rough, the second wouldn't be simple either. But surely no impossible monsters would be set. Prep time ended quickly. The portal that appeared was small, maybe a sea serpent? Then it doubled in size. Just when I thought it'd be a red-brown bear, it suddenly grew more than 10 times larger. This was getting ridiculous. The three little ones were sweating nervously and I was getting ideas. Next moment, the monster stepped out, making the entire coliseum shake. I never expected a supergiant dragon turtle to appear on the second floor. Stream viewers were shocked too. This was clearly a three-person trial monster. Though scared, I'd considered this possibility. I quickly searched the shop for equipment. Soon found the battle axe I wanted. Viewers didn't understand why I was still choosing weapons. I had no time to answer. I had to focus completely on fighting this big guy. Before it could attack, I charged first, but it was already lifting its foot. The giant foot slammed down, devastating the ground within 2 meters. Viewers thought I was dead, but when the dust settled, I was hanging from the dragon turtle's foot. I planned to jump onto its back but failed. Seems the magic stone didn't enhance my body that much. The dragon turtle glared at me angrily. Suddenly, energy wave shot from its mouth. I'd already drawn my axe and dodged its attack. Though troublesome, I was confident. After all, I'd memorized the dragon turtle video well. I quickly moved around its legs, then struck its hind leg with the axe. The dragon turtle screamed in pain. Its body rapidly pressed downward, but I'd expected this. After escaping its coverage area, it retracted all limbs into its shell. This wasn't cowardice, but healing mode. Because its shell was too hard, most people could only watch it heal. This was why dragon turtles were so hard to defeat. This was exactly what I wanted. While it was down, I leaped onto its back. Viewers thought I was a newbie, since only rookie newbies would think the dragon turtle's back was safest. Actually, the spikes on its back would explode once they glowed red, turning the spike-covered back into a graveyard for newcomers. The big brother donated 10 gold coins just to send a voice warning. But I kept moving around on the dragon turtle's back. Finally, found a small enough spike. The axe went in halfway. Seeing this, I used Knight's power. This finally broke the spike off. I held the spike and waited there. Soon, the dragon turtle's body began shaking. Its head reappeared in view. But it immediately ran toward the wall, trying to shake me off with collision momentum. I didn't dare be careless. I immediately drove the spike into its neck. There was only one chance. I hammered the spike into the dragon turtle's body with one axe blow. Maybe the pain made it scream, but the explosion immediately drowned out its wails. After the explosion, the dragon turtle lay motionless. Viewers wondered if I was dead. Soon I emerged from the smoke. The dragon turtle lay on the ground, barely breathing. Actually, I had to inject magic power to make the spike explode. That explosion was indeed powerful, but fortunately, it was a close call. I looked at the still twitching dragon turtle with sympathy in my eyes. Rest in peace, turtle bro. With that, the axe fell. Then came the completion notification. As expected, outstanding performance earned hidden rewards. The 3 little ones were bouncing in front of me. Looked like they really wanted to eat the dragon turtle shell. Only after I gave permission did they pounce on it. The hard spikes and shell actually crunched under their fangs. Only then did I remember the livestream viewers. Seeing my performance, they suspected I was cheating. I really didn't know how to explain this away. Saying I was just lucky wouldn't convince them now, so I shamelessly bragged that I just felt strong and thought I could beat it. Of course, not all of them were fools. I had to say I'd check rewards to divert their attention. The reward was a magic stone and 500 gold coins, plus a subspace backpack that could hold 500 kilograms. This subspace backpack was pretty good for early game. Only hard mode had such rewards. I picked up the magic stone, discreetly put it in the backpack, had to grab their attention before they discussed magic stones. Now I had to check the hidden reward everyone was excited about. Another stone-like object dropped out. This was a level enhancement charm, could upgrade equipment by 1 level. The guy who said it was charity stopped talking. I told the viewers, this is obviously good stuff, I'll put it away. Some still told me to upgrade the axe, really treating me like a clueless newbie. Suddenly, felt dizzy and disoriented. They advised me to go to the 3rd floor where I'd recover, but I insisted on finishing checking rewards first. This was the reward for reaching 100 fans. Looking at 5 different attribute blessings, didn't choose immediately. The chat had different opinions, but no one mentioned magic blessing. Magic is an ability related to mages and magic engineers, rarely used early on. So I understood why they didn't recommend magic, but how could mere mortals understand my thoughts? I decisively chose magic blessing. Actually, I wanted to become a magic engineer. Though this profession was very difficult just to get started and was only considered a support role, but I'd seen a genius magic engineer's moves in the video. What man could resist mechs and lasers? Though I knew I wasn't that gifted, copying the basics should work. The 3 little ones had finished eating, didn't even wipe their mouths. I could feel them getting rounder and heavier. The dragon turtle was left with just skin and meat. I was barely able to stand now. Seeing nothing else, I walked into the portal. Immediately felt refreshed. All wounds had disappeared. The 3rd floor trial mission window popped up, though the 1st and 2nd floors were much harder than in the video. This 3rd floor was the same as the video. Portal appeared nearby. Fellow streamers, I've safely reached the 3rd floor. Thanks for everyone's concern. I turned toward the voice. Seemed like teaming up normalized the difficulty. His battered armor showed he'd suffered plenty on the 2nd floor. Next moment, he looked at me like meeting a fellow countryman. Tears in his eyes. Hello. You're really human, right? I was speechless but answered, I'm human. Looks like you've suffered a lot before this. He seemed to realize and immediately stepped back. Sorry. I was too hasty. Without comparison, there's no harm. Viewers unanimously agreed his reaction was normal for a newbie. Nice to meet you. I'm Kai-kun. I awkwardly said my name was Kim Jae-ju. Sure enough, this guy laughed at my name. Then he weakly asked, Mr. Jae-ju, are those 3 little ones on you called papoys? I openly lifted them to show him. Guess the viewers told you. He was truly a newbie, daring to get so close to examine the papoys. But they all asked why I had papoys here. I said they appeared on the 1st floor and got close to me for some reason. Ground tremors interrupted our chat. 2 stone giants emerged from the sand. I immediately pulled out my battle axe. If difficulty hadn't changed, their weakness should be the same as in the video. Simple mode has 1 statue. Normal mode has 2, and hard mode also has 2. But you must defeat them simultaneously, or the fallen one recovers quickly. Before I could think more, the statue's spear thrust forward. Just the aftershock sent Ikaiken, the real newbie, flying. I ran straight under their feet. The statue's shield came down. Any normal person would be crushed, but I was already gone, having slipped behind the other statue. I jumped 5 meters high, glowing with blue light, then struck the statue's knee pit. Its legs split in half, and as it was falling, a hand reached out. The other statue helped it up. Though their friendship was touching, I knew I couldn't delay. Soon, the spear statue would recover. I suddenly charged forward, without hesitation struck the shield statue's leg again. 1 chop couldn't break it, so I chopped again. Finally, both statues fell. Ikaikuin ran over. He couldn't believe a newbie could do this. Before I could explain, the statue suddenly moved. Their eyes glowed red. I quickly warned him to duck. But this guy was an idiot. He actually turned to look. I had to tackle him to save him from getting killed. While I was saving him, both statues had gotten back up. I never expected statues would throw spears. Now I understood they weren't finished just by falling. After figuring this out, I charged again. While they weren't fully upright, I ran and accelerated, then leaped in front of the shield statue. I used magic power to its fullest. Just one axe blow, split it in half, then a giant hand attack. I jumped down to avoid it, but it had another hand. Seeing the shield statue glowing with repair light, I knew I couldn't delay. So I kicked off and jumped to dodge its slap, then struck down with the axe. Cracks spread from its arm up to its head, fell backward. Landing back on the ground, I didn't look back. That's the pride of a show-off. Sure enough, this time it only twitched a few times. The red glow in its eyes soon faded. Then came the completion notification. Seeing my spectacular performance, viewers donated gold coins. I immediately greeted them. Thanks, everyone. Sorry for the wait. Of course, this was just surface talk. The battle ended too quickly. I looked around muttering about where the portal was. My confused act fooled most people. They thought I was a combat-skilled newbie. Following their advice, I headed to the church, but Hikei-kun stopped me. Can we chat for a bit? But I just wanted to clear the tower quickly. Sorry. Maybe next time. I ran off, leaving the poor newbie confused in the wind. In the church, I saw a scroll. The scroll described the fall of the Atro Empire. It contained the warning, "Never anger the emperor." Most viewers didn't know what this was for. I smiled knowingly. This was a hint for the 5th floor. Portal appeared beside me. I said I'd check rewards before going to the 4th floor. They guessed this level was average difficulty with few rewards. Soon, the reward box appeared. As they said, just a coin bag. They said the first 2 floors gave too much. This was normal. My face darkened. Hard mode usually gives 3 rewards. Suddenly, info window popped up. I opened my mouth in surprise. Who would expect exactly 5,000 gold coins inside? I happily told viewers this was great. Now I had 5,600 gold coins. Coins are especially important on the 5th floor. Only with enough coins could I learn more magical engineering. They reminded me the Papua seemed to have problems. I turned around. The round Papuas had become flat. I anxiously asked if they were okay, but they wouldn't even open their eyes since no one had brought Papoys up the tower. The viewers didn't know what was wrong either. Someone said they might be hungry, but on the 2nd floor, they ate the entire turtle shell. I reluctantly took out the magic stone, but they still didn't react at all. Just when I was at a loss, the big brother donated 20 gold coins and sent a voice message telling me to go to the 5th floor first. Since they couldn't reveal later floor content, the chat just used that thing to refer to it. But even without them saying, I knew someone on the 5th floor could heal the Popeyes. Time was critical. I picked up the 3 little ones to leave. Hikaiken finally caught up. Jeju, wait for me. I didn't want to deal with him, but couldn't just run off. I know you find talking to me troublesome, but I still want to thank you in person. If not for you, I'd be dead already. Thank you so much. Hearing this made me feel a bit embarrassed. Though I made no promises, I gave him motivation to survive. After all, whatever happens, you must live to meet again. I then carried the pop wasp to the 4th floor. Mission: remove the seal within the time limit to open the gate. Failure means being trapped forever. But I knew this was no different from death. While you could buy food with coins, coins would eventually run out and no viewers would donate to worthless streamers. I placed the Popoys on the ground and walked to the wall. This was an intelligence test level. In hard mode, there were 100 crystals here. I opened the shop. It was full of various foods. I knew this was the administrator's trap, designed to make newbies waste time on food so they'd run out of time and be trapped. I decided to voice my thoughts about saving money. All the haters jumped out, telling me to buy fried chicken and such. Some people defended me, saying they had no humanity. After all, the papas were still sick. I let them argue while I studied the seal. I knew the 4th floor required using hidden text and crystals to find patterns. Connecting the crystals would break the seal. The video version of me had suffered greatly from this. Thanks to my future self, I now knew the crystal patterns. Though at first my brain felt like exploding, but now I was smart about it. Treat each character as a number and memorize it like a password. The viewers thought I was randomly pressing, but when I lit up dozens of crystals, those fools were stunned. This was all from my hard work memorizing everything. At this rate, I'd finish in half an hour. Some people naively thought I was guessing. I was too lazy to explain. For the 3 little ones, I gave it my all. In just 10 minutes, I was down to the last crystal. I took a deep breath to show how difficult this was. As I pressed the final crystal, the 5th floor portal appeared. Someone donated 200 gold coins, seeing my speed. I explained I wasn't a member of Mensa or anything, but I'd never tell them I knew the answers. The big brother named the love was the best. He never interfered with my actions, only supported and encouraged when necessary. I said I had no time to explain, needed to check rewards and leave immediately. This time, like the 4th floor, it was 5,000 gold coins. Many people were jealous, but there were still reasonable people. With 10,000 gold coins, I could finally see hero-level skill books. I calmed myself and put away the coins, then carried the Papuas to the 5th floor, though some newbies from my batch reached the 7th floor. I told myself not to rush, they probably chose easier difficulties. I walked through the 5th floor portal. If I showed extraordinary ability on the 5th floor, those fans would definitely become loyal followers. Because the 5th floor had a special mechanism. Viewers couldn't leave the stream, and real-world time wasn't affected. I would become a character in the Atro Empire. Another returnee would enter with me, and we had to complete the predetermined ending. I originally didn't want to choose this useless prince as my story character. But users in hard mode generally become important figures in the Atro Empire. Magic ability corresponds to the chief magician. Physical ability corresponds to one of the knight commanders. There are also non-combat professions like merchants. I saw the comments were all different, but no one suggested I choose the magic engineer ability. But they didn't know this was exactly what I wanted most. And magic engineering corresponds to the Empire's platinum mechanical engineer, which was practically tailor-made for me. I wanted to choose. Before I finished speaking, a selection window popped up. Are you sure you want to choose abilities related to magical beasts? I frantically shouted no, but the system made the choice for me anyway. So I was forced to transmigrate as the second prince of the Atro Empire. Among the characters with magical beast abilities, Cully Toplos. When he was 10 years old, he asked his father, the Emperor, for a magical beast as a birthday gift, but got slapped instead and was scorned by his older brother. So he secretly built an underground space beneath his room. Bodelli helped him and promised to help him buy magical beasts. Later, when the Emperor discovered his magical beast breeding, he could only tearfully burn those magical beasts to death. Later, he got drunk and caused a scene in the streets, earning him the title of Scoundrel Prince. After reading the second prince's character setup, I was already quite unsettled, and I had to complete a coup within 7 days. This mission was absolutely ridiculous. The audience also expressed sympathy for me. But since it had already happened, I couldn't just sit there waiting for death. Generally speaking, if the mission is simple, you just need to focus on completing the task. If the plot is extremely difficult, then eliminating competitors would be a better choice. For impossible settings like becoming emperor, maybe I could do just that. After thinking it through, I called for someone to come in. I calmly commanded him, "Go call Bodelli over." The audience praised my acting skills. Soon after, Bodelli arrived. "Your Highness, did you call me because of the magical beast you brought back today?" Although I didn't know about this, it was best to play along for now. Then he had someone carry in an object covered with white cloth. I was also somewhat curious about that thing, but I never expected. Inside were actually the Papoys. I cursed myself for being inhuman, completely forgetting about them. But I kept a calm expression and asked, "Why do they look so listless?" I asked those magical beast hunters. They don't know what's wrong either, but I think they consumed too much magic stone. They should recover after some care. I was listening intently when he suddenly shouted, "Your Highness." Then he excitedly grabbed my shoulders and shook me. "Why do I sense the aura of magic stones from within your body? What happened during the month I was in the north?" I pushed his hands away in disgust, saying I was fine and he didn't need to worry. How can I not worry? If magic power runs wild in an ordinary person's body, it could cause an explosion. Although you're lucky and your life wasn't threatened. But now the magic stone's aura has penetrated into your brain. If it continues to worsen, your emotions might completely lose control. You absolutely cannot consume magic stones anymore. I patted his shoulder reassuringly. "Don't worry. I'll keep your words firmly in mind." Seeing this, he bowed and took his leave. Before leaving, he told me the first prince was acting very suspiciously and I should be cautious of him. I said I understood and that I would personally take the magical beasts underground. Only then did he leave with peace of mind. Bodelli was originally the second prince's mother's guardian knight. After the imperial consort died, he voluntarily became the second prince's attendant. So for the second prince, Bodeli was the only helper he could trust. Then I walked to the bookshelf. Just lightly tapping one of the books, a secret passage appeared before my eyes. I followed the stairs down to the dark underground space. The animals inside didn't reject me when they saw me, showing more of the joy of seeing their master. It seemed the second prince treated them well. I found a spot to put down the powpoys. I turned and left before they could react. Sorry, powpoys. I don't know what will happen outside, so for your safety I can only put you here for now. The three little ones were obviously sad about my departure, but in their sickly state they couldn't do anything. He swings his sword 10,000 times every day because every swing of his sword raises him one level. This is the world's favoritism toward transmigrators, which also made the man mistakenly think he was the protagonist. He was a swordsmanship instructor in the real world and chose hard mode right after entering the tower, so gold coin rewards came very easily. Thus, he became arrogant. At this time, the audience reminded him that a visitor had arrived, and the visitor was precisely the character I was playing. Second, Prince Kaoli. I watched him with interest and he stared back at me foolishly until the audience reminded him did he react. Then he knelt and bowed to me with clumsy movements. Rise, your dedicated training for the Empire is truly gratifying. His eyes revealed cunning as he wondered if I was a user. But thinking about it, he felt it was impossible because users usually only choose knights or magicians. He sheathed his sword and asked, "What brings you here?" The audience gave him good reviews for this performance. But I just smiled, actually, nothing important. I just suddenly remembered the wine you like. At my birthday banquet last year, didn't you keep a long face because we didn't have your favorite wine? So I want to have some sent to your house, but I don't remember what that wine was called. Li Shanjie opened his mouth wide, immediately searched the chat for useful information, then randomly said a wine name. It should be this one. I'll have someone deliver it to you tomorrow. Li Shanjie quickly thanked him, also feeling relieved about getting through this. But I suddenly changed the topic. What's your name in the Empire? Hearing this, Li Shanjie sneered and stood up. So you're a madman. Who exactly are you? My expression remained calm. Are you blind? I'm the second prince of the Atro Empire. He said even more angrily, I noticed you didn't even bring guards, so how dare you be so arrogant? Let me ask you one more question. How did you know I'm a user? I put a lot of effort into playing this character well. I said I had no obligation to tell him. Actually, this was all thanks to that petty second prince who recorded everything in detail. At this point, Li Shanjie was very arrogant. What is he saying? Brothers, did I hear wrong? I heard the second prince is trash. I just need one sword strike to end this game. You bastard are finished. Without thinking, drew his sword. But then a shout came from the distance, what are you doing? This scared Li Shanjie into immediately hiding his sword. Your Highness, are you alright? I said I was fine. Bodeli's body trembled with excitement. I saw it clearly. That guy pointed a sword at you. I told him not to worry. I just wanted this person to demonstrate swordsmanship for me. Li Shanjie naturally had to nod in agreement. Bodeli asked angrily, then why did I sense killing intent just now? I quickly helped explain that I told him to use full force. Hearing this, Bodeli lightly patted Li Shanjie's shoulder. Watch your behavior in the future or no one can save you. Li Shanjie quickly said he would be careful in the future. Only after getting Bodeli's consent did he slink away. Strange. He wasn't like this before. The mighty Lionheart Regiment commander would actually panic like this. But I suddenly asked him, from what you say, you must miss the old days. Bodeli smiled with relief. You jest, Your Highness. After I swore loyalty to Her Imperial Highness, I've forgotten about the past. Hearing this, I smiled with relief. Then I told him to go back first. I wanted to walk around outside and relax. The audience all wondered why I didn't take the chance to eliminate him. That would have cleared the 5th floor. But I didn't want to clear it so quickly after all. I hadn't even started touching magical engineering yet. When the time comes, if I can't complete the predetermined ending, we'll talk then. Meanwhile, Li Shanjie was panicking. He asked the audience for help. That person transmigrated as a prince. If he orders my elimination, I'm finished. His audience thought I was crazy for missing such a good opportunity, but some people also gave him reasonable suggestions. So he started investigating information about the second prince in Bodeli. Sure enough, he found what he wanted, news about 3 papas. The audience also connected it to me because I was really too conspicuous on the 1st floor. Then someone else gave him an idea. Li Shanjie listened to them and came to the prayer room outside the city. At this time, Li Shanjie looked determined to eliminate me. It turns out the 5th floor had a hidden clearance strategy. As long as you reach the prayer room and say the name of a user participating in the trial with you, you can clear the 5th floor. Li Shanjie knew he could be executed at any time, so he had no choice but to use this move. A window popped up. Please state the name of the user participating in the trial with you. Li Shanjie said without hesitation, Kim Jae-ju. Are you certain this information is correct? Once confirmed, you cannot choose again. As Li Shanjie pressed confirm, the stone statue beside him immediately came to life. Your information is incorrect. The evil gods mock your wisdom and curse you. All skills you have acquired disappear. This made Li Shanjie shout at the sky in anger. Actually, he had come looking for me earlier. When he shouted my name, I was startled. Seeing my reaction, he smiled sinisterly. Then he ran away without looking back. The audience told me to catch him, but I didn't move, showing an intriguing expression. Some people were still confused, while others knew what I was going to do. I unhurriedly walked to my room. Then I took out my storage backpack and rummaged through it. Soon after, a nickname change voucher was in my hand. Without a word, I tore it in half. Then a virtual panel appeared before my eyes. Seeing the nickname change, the audience got excited. But I entered Kim Jae-ju 2% without hesitation. Does this mean Kim Jae-ju 1 is sealed on the 5th floor? The audience really knew how to joke. At this moment, I showed a sly smile. I know the night's predetermined ending is to learn the essence of swordsmanship. And the price of failing the wisdom trial is having all learned skills formatted. That's definitely enough to make him suffer. If his live stream doesn't have audiences tipping him large amounts of gold coins, completing the predetermined ending would be impossible. Someone asked why I knew about this hidden method. I didn't explain because someone would explain for me, but they kept obsessing over my name. This really made me impatient. What's wrong with Kim Jae-ju 2? I don't have time to think about nicknames. I was indeed somewhat worried that Guy would complete the mission early. I was just acting calm on the surface. At this time, noise came from outside. Seeing this, I opened the door to check. It was that idiot Li Shanjie, and the guards looked troubled too. Your Highness, could you spare some time to talk with me? I decisively let him in, but the audience's attention was on the guards. Clearly, they were the first prince's people. After entering, Li Shanjie angrily walked toward me. You bastard, who exactly are you? I smiled playfully. Didn't I answer that before? Seeing this, he grabbed a nearby chair and threw it at me. I easily dodged it. Now he stopped hiding his skills, directly drawing his sword and threatening to cut me down. At this point, he could only fight to the death. But in my view, his movements were so slow. Was it because his skills were formatted? Then I easily grabbed both his hands. With just a little force, the sword in his hand fell. I said coldly in his ear, when I spared you before, it was just because the situation required it. It's not that I was actually afraid. Do you understand? Li Shanjie nearly wet himself. Having achieved the expected effect, I threw him to the ground. If you understand, then get lost. Having witnessed my strength, he didn't dare linger here. I originally didn't want to push him to such a state, but he had to court disaster. The audience asked what I would do now. I also frankly told them not to worry. I could eliminate him any time. Now, my choices were to ascend to the throne or learn magic engineering knowledge. Eliminating him on the last day, though that way many rewards couldn't be obtained. In the video, I chose to be a knight, so I was playing the role of knight commander. But at that time, I personally witnessed one thing. On the 6th day of the trial against the second prince began. I personally witnessed the timid second prince admit to the crime of assassinating the emperor. Anyone with eyes could see there was something fishy about this. After all, the cautious emperor had beast-man knights planted everywhere. How could such a cowardly second prince successfully assassinate the emperor? But this trial was unfair from the start. The Emmy in the video was incredibly angry, even threatening to destroy this tower. Now I was playing the role of the second prince. Within 7 days, I had to eliminate Big Brother and ascend to the emperor's position. I quickly came up with a strategy. That very night, I went to the emperor's sleeping chambers. To avoid being disturbed, I turned off the livestream chat in advance. I could only apologize to my bros, although I was blocked by Beastman soldiers. I still successfully met with the emperor. Seeing me, the emperor also expressed doubt. How strange you actually came to find me. I respectfully bowed. How can it be strange for a son to visit his father? This emperor was actually quite reasonable. After he dismissed the beastman, I told him that the ring he used to control the beastmen was fake. The real ring had long been secretly swapped by the first prince. He also asked why I, who had always kept quiet, was now revealing this. Did I want something? I openly admitted I wanted to become emperor and said to him, "Please go die." Through this operation, I received a wave of gold coin tips from my bros. They were very excited to see what I would do next, but the next day I went to the workshop. Unfortunately, I ran into the first prince. He immediately mocked me, and it seemed he already knew about my meeting with the emperor yesterday. He probably came to find me curious about what I said to the emperor, but I made him angry with just 2 sentences as he stepped forward to slap me. A voice said, "Stop." It was the imperial mechanical engineer Pulin. It seemed he also disliked this first prince and came to speak for me. Facing someone like the first prince, he wasn't afraid at all. After all, even the current emperor had to respect him. The first prince could only leave harsh words and depart in anger. After that, I successfully entered the workshop. As soon as I entered, I smelled that nauseating machine oil. Then a window popped up. Magic engineering ability value increase rate will be enhanced here. I immediately opened the skill shop. The skills inside were quite expensive. The audience all said seeing these skills gave them headaches, but I ignored their complaints. I quickly learned all the magic engineering skills in the shop. Someone angrily called me an idiot. I immediately banned him. This could serve as a warning to others. Then I used all the skill books I bought. Immediately, a wave of dizziness hit me, like a carsick person who had been on a bus for a day and night. Took me a long while to recover. Seeing my determination, the audience stopped trying to dissuade me. With everything ready, I knocked on Pulin's door. I respectfully told him I wanted to borrow his workshop. So he took me to the underground laboratory, then he handed me a problem, solve this problem first. Fortunately, my high school physics wasn't bad, combined with the skill knowledge I just learned. I felt good about completing the problem, although I only got half the points. Pulin was very satisfied with my answer and readily agreed to let me use the workshop freely. He assured me he would absolutely not let the first prince step foot in here. Then I apologized to the audience. The live stream would be somewhat boring for the next few days. For the next few days, except for occasionally checking on the Powpoys, I spent the rest of my time in the workshop. Soon, there was only 1 day and 16 hours left. At this time, Bodeli frantically found me, "Your Highness, terrible news. His Majesty, the Emperor, has passed away." I thought what should come had finally come. Before I could finish listening to Bodeli's account, the executioner brought soldiers in. "Arrest the suspect who harmed the Emperor." I didn't resist and let them take me away. Soon, my trial began. This was exactly like what I saw in the video. The only difference was that I was now extremely calm. The second prince should have immediately admitted his guilt, but I spoke up in court. I did not murder His Majesty, the Emperor. Although I have no evidence, I have a witness. Then footsteps in the corridor echoed throughout the entire venue. The Emperor, who should have been dead, now stood alive before everyone. He looked at the tribunal nearby. "It seems you've gained quite a few benefits from the first prince this year. Duke Magnus, since when do I need to look up to you?" Magnus immediately jumped up from his seat. He and those around him scrambled down from the stands. Then they knelt one by one at the Emperor's feet. The Emperor didn't forget to smile at me. "Then let the official trial begin now." But the first prince was still defiant, and the soldiers who brought him were polite. They didn't even put handcuffs on him. He even told the Emperor this was all my conspiracy. The Emperor's face immediately darkened. "Since you consider me Emperor, why aren't you bowing?" Only then did the first prince reluctantly assume the position. Then he glared at me angrily. I didn't want to deal with him right now. At this time, someone tipped me 500 gold coins. It was the guy who cursed me in the chat earlier. He wants me to unban him. I decisively closed his private chat window. The Emperor was about to say, "Begin the trial." I quickly interrupted him. Just now, I was still the defendant. If you ask me whether I feel wronged, I would definitely answer very wronged. Others were all talking, thinking I would definitely be punished for interrupting the Emperor. But the Emperor just smiled and gestured for me to continue. I said I wanted to personally expose the criminal's crimes to prove my innocence. The Emperor agreed without thinking. So I began questioning the defendant Selen Toplos. "Defendant, is your name Selen Toplos?" The first prince was grinding his teeth in anger, but finally could only hold back and answer yes. Selen Toplos, did you attempt to harm the emperor? He stood there speechless. I ask again, did you attempt to harm the emperor? But he suddenly laughed. Your clumsy imitation of His Majesty, the emperor, is just too funny. Coley, you couldn't be trying to compete with me for the throne, could you? I don't know why you're having a fit, but if you kneel and apologize to me now, I might still forgive you. I directly slapped away his dirty hand. If it were that truly stupid second prince, he might still consider you his big brother. He even told the first prince about secretly keeping magical beasts. In the end, he still didn't believe his big brother had betrayed him. I said the witness could step forward, then a beast man walked up. The first prince spoke first. Knights standing in the witness stand, I ask you. As he spoke, he took out the ring that could control beast men from his pocket, wrapped in white cloth. Since you can see clearly, then tell me who exactly did you see in the reception room. At this moment, he was already showing a triumphant smile. The beast man knight directly said his name. The first prince looked completely incredulous. The emperor also said mockingly, what's wrong? From your expression, it seems something is out of your control. The first prince finally realized the emperor's ring was the real one. His last trump card was also gone. I picked up the ring that fell to the ground and brought it to him. Since you voluntarily surrendered the evidence, it saves us trouble. Your Majesty the Emperor, do you have anything to say? The Emperor displayed the ring. Nothing special. Just identical to the ring I used to control Beastman's soldiers. I raised my hand to ask again. May I make the final judgment? The first prince started shouting loudly, I don't accept this trial that doesn't follow proper procedures. I don't accept this guy who has no qualification to judge. I don't accept those people who took my money but pretend to be noble. It seemed he had really gone mad, even revealing the bribery. Then let me ask the audience present. Is anyone willing to speak for Selen? The entire venue was silent. In that case, I will make the judgment. I declare Selen Toplos guilty and order his immediate arrest. Finally, with the Emperor's permission, I had a friendly private conversation with the criminal. I saw my raised arm glowing blue. With one punch, his face was directly caved in. Having vented my anger, the Emperor made the final judgment. Tie Selentoplos to a horse and drag him around the entire empire. Hearing this, the first prince cried like an idiot. But no matter how he wailed, he could only be ruthlessly dragged away. The Emperor was about to stand up when I quickly called to him. May I speak with you for a moment? Seeing this, the Emperor sat back down. I boldly request your Majesty. I hope you will make me the son of the Atro Empire. Please grant this. Actually, the son meant the Emperor. That is, I was asking him to abdicate. The Emperor laughed until tears came out. How interesting. Then he walked up to me. Then he shouted loudly, I will crown second Prince Kali Toplos as Emperor of the Atro Empire. I thought I'd finally completed the mission. But the next moment, the world turned black and white. Everything around began to rapidly disappear. The next moment, I was in a different dimension. A window immediately popped up next to me. Congratulations on successfully passing the 5th floor trial. From his reply, I learned he was the administrator, but I was curious why he was looking for me. He immediately replied, become an administrator. Become an administrator. His voice kept echoing in my ears. I felt like my brain was going to explode. If you don't accept my proposal, then die. I endured the intense pain and shouted, I refuse. The surroundings immediately quieted down. He asked, are you not afraid of the future? I understood he meant if I refused, he would eliminate me. He didn't continue wasting words. Said, I'll wait for you on the 10th floor and left. Since the story mission was completed early, I chose to continue the trial with the remaining time. Soon, the world returned to normal. Only the audience said they had just been disconnected. It seemed only I knew what had happened. The Emperor saw my expression and asked, why so surprised? Isn't this what you wanted, Emperor Kali Toplos? Only then did I remember I was already the Emperor of this empire. Then he put his arm around me like a buddy. Such a happy day. Of course, we should have a drink together. Meanwhile, the first prince had been taken to the dungeon. Li Shanjie sneered disdainfully, but was glared at fiercely. Who the hell are you to mock me? Li Shanjie held him down with one hand. He was also helpless now, and the audience was disappointed in him too. At this time, a window popped up. User 4891. Li Shanjie, you have failed. Another user has completed the predetermined ending. You will personally experience the complete destruction of this world. At this time, the first prince had already grabbed his hand. Only death awaited him, and at this time I had come to a corridor. At the end of the corridor hung a portrait of Kali's mother. When watching the video, I had said, if I reached the 5th floor, I would definitely help her. Although this was a false world, I hoped what I did could make up for Kali's regrets. Thinking this, I stepped into the banquet hall. The next morning, I lay in bed completely lifeless. This was all because of those two shameless old demons. After washing up, the audience told me to spend gold coins. I opened it and found 16,592 gold coins. Brothers, how many gold coins did you tip in one night? Then the love boss tipped me another 10,000 gold coins and praised me with well done. I immediately bowed 90 degrees. I will work even harder in the future. Then I said I'd visit a few more places before heading to the 6th floor. First, I visited the former emperor. From him, I learned the reason for that slap he gave me. Those magical beasts had been tampered with and could attack at any time. Then I was going to the workshop. There was still something I hadn't taken. After wishing old Poulin a long life, I left with my masterpiece. Now there were still 13 hours left. Actually, felt a bit regretful. After the trial ends, this world will return to its original state. In future trials, Kali will repeatedly die unjustly. What I didn't know was that the scroll content in the 3rd floor hall had already changed. The empire has given birth to an emperor who inherited legitimacy without relying on conspiracies and schemes. The empire prospers daily, everywhere filled with happiness and peace. Travelers who see this content, please do not disturb the heart of the Atro Empire's emperor bodily. When preparing to return to the palace, I shouted, Bodeli. Sure enough, speak of the devil and he shall appear. I wanted to ask him, have you found the reason why the popoys are listless? He said not yet, but there were no other abnormalities. Hearing this made me even happier. Since the popoys were fine, let's go find them. And at this time in the underground room, the popoys were sleeping soundly. After 7 days having completed the mission, I finally saw them again. They were overjoyed to see me. They were licking my hand before I even opened the door. The next moment, they couldn't wait to jump toward me. Seeing them so energetic was also relieved. Then I told the audience I needed to do some wrap-up work and banned everyone first. Back in the room, I put down the pulpwise. Then I came to the desk. This is what I made here. But as Poulin said, this thing was very difficult to make right. The magic soul could be dangerous if not handled carefully. After repeated adjustments, I finally barely met the requirements. I put it on my hand and felt it carefully. After a moment, the sensing device lit up. Then I could control it. Although there was some delay, it was better than I imagined. Only then did I turn off the ban. Then I obsequiously apologized to the audience. Soon my time here would end. I removed my disguise and returned to my original appearance. As soon as I lifted the user entry restriction, audiences flooded into my livestream. They were refugees from Li Shanjai's side. To not disappoint them too much, I decided to set it so new people could only send chat messages after 12 hours. Then I said I would open the completion rewards, which could also interest new audiences. Then a box fell in front of me. This reward box was quite large. Seeing voice messages flooding in, I could only raise the electronic voice price to 500 gold coins. Right after setting it, Luca tipped 1,000 gold and sent a voice message, still wanting me to unban him. I said not yet, so let's look at the rewards first. As soon as I opened it, a set of clothes came into view, and the audience was curious. But I said this was just a very ordinary set of clothes. I just smiled. Is the administrator provoking me? Putting the clothes aside, the popoy started getting grabby. Seeing his disappointed expression, I was somewhat helpless. Let's look at the next reward. My eyes lit up. It was actually hero-level equipment. Roten's leather boots, with abilities to adjust hardness and invisibility among various other capabilities. I put the boots on without hesitation. Although it was hero level, the audience didn't think highly of it because this equipment was extremely difficult to use. One mistake could put you in danger. I actually saw others using it in the video too. Then I opened my eyes that glowed with blue light. The boots quickly transformed into sneakers. I checked the texture briefly, then told the audience it works pretty well, though this might be because I ate the magic stone. Then came the final reward, still 5,000 gold coins. Now I have over 30,000 gold coins total. though I really want to learn other skills. But I still need to stay on the 10th floor. I must buy that item. Then I pondered about the 6th floor's information. I remember the 6th floor requires completing trials with others. If the poys are discovered, it would definitely cause trouble. I can only put them in my spatial backpack first. After preparing, I'll head to the 6th floor. The 6th floor is a 4-person team mission. We need to defeat 5 waves of incoming enemies. There are still 59 minutes of preparation time. The other 3 are already sitting by the campfire. A buzz-cut guy immediately waved at me. There's a fire here. Come warm up. Unexpectedly, audience gave this buzz-cut guy bad reviews right after meeting. I greeted them, then looked at the masked girl standing aside. She suddenly said coldly, "Haven't you seen humans before?" I immediately felt awkward. "Sorry. I just thought your mask was quite special." The audience started joking around. At this point, Buzzcut stood up. "Anyway, we're all going to participate in the trial together. Don't fight. First, let me introduce myself. I'm called Buzzcut. I was working out outside, then got summoned in. On the 5th floor, I played the role of Knight Commander. My strength is very strong. Everyone please rest assured." Then the hooded uncle also introduced that he's a mage, but he just wants to pass quickly and then separate. I get the feeling he and Buzzcut had some unpleasant history. The audience guessed they both wanted to be team leader, then one by one volunteered to scout for information. The girl is called Li Shirxia. She said she can't explain her profession specifically, just learn some martial arts. I also gave a simple self-introduction. When they heard I was a magic engineer, none of them stayed calm, especially Buzzcut, who kept chattering non-stop. Li Shirxia also got impatient. "As long as we few can clear it, uncle, you really worry too much." Though she also found magic engineers boring. Finally, the uncle interrupted Buzzcut's nonsense. "Let me first show you the situation around us. We're surrounded by thick fog. It looks like fog, but it's actually solid like walls. So this floor's range extends only to the fog. The upcoming arrangement is obvious. Frontal combat will be handled by Buzzcut and Li Shirxia. Buzzcut is the tank. Li Shirxia is damage output. The uncle mage provides ranged damage. As for me, this useless person, I can only watch and help when there's something to do." But Buzzcut was still tirelessly complaining. "I didn't want to deal with so much. The urgent matter is to first resolve uncertain factors." Soon after, the first wave of enemies appeared. The audience found it strange from the start. Clearly said to be ghosts, but they had physical forms. The two said, "Let's observe the situation first." But Buzzcut showed a confident yet foolish smile. "Did you forget? I'm the 6th TH Knight Regiment commander." After saying this, he charged alone toward the unidentified enemies, only heard a clang sound. Only then did Buzzcut sense something wrong. How could Ghost be so hard? The next moment, his weapon was knocked away. Then he was firmly controlled by the monster. He roared helplessly. The monster slowly brought him to its mouth. The seemingly fragile girl, with one strike, knocked off the monster's head completely. However, she acted like she'd done something trivial, just annoyed that her clothes got dirty. Only I knew she would later achieve the title of Fist Saint. Originally, she was just an ordinary student, relying on luck and tips to barely pass the first 4 floors. But on the 5th floor, she crossed over as a street vagrant and met a master. Under the master's guidance, Li Shirxia changed from her previous softness into a female fighter who could slay demons bare-handed. The title of Fist Saint gradually spread throughout the tower. She angrily shouted at Buzzcut, "Uncle, do you want to die? I told you not to go up. If you're this weak, don't cause trouble for others. I hate people like you who have no ability but love to boast." When passing by me, she glanced at me. "This guy said he's a magic engineer, right? Same as that person just now, both weak and incompetent. But why does he look somewhat familiar?" I didn't know her thoughts at this time, but it's just as well I don't need to act now. At this time, the scout who went to explore other live streams came back. According to him, the audience in Li Shirxia's live stream are all daddy fans. They frantically tip gold coins saying, "Good daughter, do whatever you want." Hearing them praise me made me a bit embarrassed. The mage uncle's livestream presented a melancholy atmosphere with boring but serious people. As for Buzzcut, the audience still joked around, even seeing his broken finger. I walked to Buzzcut and asked, "Is your injury okay? Let me look at your wound." Without waiting for his agreement, I used my modified mechanical arm to cast healing magic on him. Soon after he was lying on the ground crying miserably, I said, though it hurts now, you won't get any diseases from bleeding later. The uncle came up asking if this glove was made using magic engineering. Is this difficult? I explained though it's difficult, it's not impossible to use. Seeing us chatting happily, Li Shixia showed some disdain. It's just magic engineering. It's not that powerful. Then the uncle arranged the upcoming defense with Li Shixia as main attacker, him providing magic support and me same as before. As for Buzzcut, just hope he doesn't get in our way. Soon, the second wave of enemies attacked 2 blue cockroaches. Li Shixia rushed forward without saying a word. She gave each of the 2 blue cockroaches 1 hit and took them out. The audience all started getting curious about her identity. I sighed inwardly, truly worthy of the Fist Saint. Though I knew she and I entered the tower in the same batch, I didn't expect we'd meet like this. Then we deduced the next wave would have 4 blue cockroaches. The uncle said he'd provide magic support. We 3 prepared seriously, but the third wave only had 2 blue cockroaches appear. Li Shixia said, let's take them out first. I felt something wasn't right. While I was discussing with the uncle, there was movement nearby. I dodged the sudden sneak attack. Looks like the third wave enemies appeared in 2 batches. Young man stepped back. I heard the voice and turned around. The uncle had already condensed a fireball. He threw the fireball at 1 blue cockroach. But it only made the blue cockroach show question marks. The uncle was also dumbfounded. The audience had already expected this result. I walked in front of him saying, let me handle it. While speaking, I'd already activated the modified arm. Others don't understand blue cockroaches, but I know them very well. They're fast in straight lines and iron weapons can't break their shells. Once you overcome this, there's nothing to fear. Thinking this, I charged at the blue cockroach without hesitation. My fist collided with its pincers. His whole body was trembling. While I just increased the force slightly and could penetrate it with 1 punch, the other one tried to escape when it saw this. I definitely wouldn't let it go. I thought Li Shixia should be able to handle the other 2. Looking over, I saw the blue cockroach pouncing toward the defenseless him. Turned out moments before, Li Shixia had defeated 1 blue cockroach with a few punches, then heard the uncle's exclamation. When he turned to look at that battlefield, the remaining blue cockroach quietly approached. In a flash, it was right in front of him. Careless, no time to counterattack. So he decisively defended first, only heard a puff sound. A drop of blood splashed on his face. The blue cockroach remained motionless, then started swaying. Only then did I reveal myself and say embarrassingly, sorry I accidentally let blood splash out. Are you okay? Not only was she not grateful, but glared at me with wide eyes. I could only pretend not to see. If I made eye contact, I wouldn't know what to say. Then I shifted the topic to the uncle. Uncle, do you have more powerful magic? She said the most powerful thing learned on the 5th floor was that fireball spell just now. But young man, aren't you a magic engineer? How is your reaction speed faster than some knights? I could only say I don't know how it became like this. Just as the audience said, I can't tell them I ate magic stones with a pow poise. Buzzcut also came out to show his presence. Anyway, seeing everyone so strong puts me at ease. We could only give him disdainful looks. Soon, the 4th wave of enemies arrived. We all guessed this time would be double the 3rd wave's enemies, that is 8 blue cockroaches. But unexpectedly, it was 8 on each side. Not only did ordinary ghosts become physical blue cockroaches, the monster numbers grew exponentially, clearly not wanting us to pass. But with mine and Li Shixia's efforts, we finally eliminated all 16 blue cockroaches. Though it was the final wave of enemies, everyone's expressions looked grim because they all guessed this time there would be a full 256 monsters. The uncle said he protested to the administrator, but the administrator wasn't there. Seeing only 20 seconds left, I made my decision. Then I stood up and walked forward saying, you all go lie down in the back. I'll warn you first. If you want to live, then do as I say. While speaking, my modified arms power was fully activated. As expected, countless blue cockroaches appeared before they could attack. I had already raised my arm, using the super strong shockwave to blast toward the blue cockroaches in front, but I didn't expect this power to be so strong. At this rate, it would end in one go. Thinking this, I spun my body in a full circle. With a shockwave passed, blue cockroaches were completely annihilated. Within a 10-meter radius, not a blade of grass remained. The uncle and Li Shixia were stunned. Just who is this guy? My body started swaying. Then the modified arm fell off. I directly coughed up blood. This thing consumed more magic power than I imagined. It should be because the magic stone I installed was exhausted. Then it also drained the magic power from my body. Finally, the trial completion notification appeared. They also snapped back and inquired about my injuries. I said it was nothing serious. Li Shixia still wanted to investigate further. I looked at the uncle and explained, it's just simple magic power backflow. Uncle, you're a mage. You should understand. Well, the uncle also said if that's the case, then it's really nothing serious. So student, don't worry too much. Li Shixia immediately turned aside. Nonsense. I wasn't worried about you. This is totally a Sunder female student persona. At this time, someone suddenly sent a voice message. Just who are you? I completely ignored him. He was also mocked by other audience members. Then I said to the three people, everyone confirm your rewards then leave first. Seeing their hesitant looks made me somewhat gloomy. The trial is over. Everyone goes their separate ways. Buzzcut still wanted to say something. Li Shixia walked over to interrupt him, called out uncle. I turned back to look but didn't respond. Then she suddenly took off her mask. With an annoyed expression said, that weird uncle, I'm calling you. The audience knew why her livestream was full of daddy fans. What's your real name? I looked confused. Didn't I just say? My name is Kim Jeju. He said the audience couldn't find this person. Hearing this, I pondered the pros and cons. After a moment, I told him to add the number 2 when searching. Just after saying this, notification sounds kept coming. I had to set no entry notifications for users. Buzzcut immediately got anxious as I expected. His livestream had few loyal fans. They all came to my side. My audience all said they didn't want to let them in. Hearing I wanted to set entry permissions made Buzzcut feel better. In comparison, not many people came from the uncle's and Li Shixia's live streams. At this time, Shixia's dad tipped me 5,000 gold coins, thanking me for saving his daughter. I said I also saved him to pass the trial, but thank you for tipping the gold coins. Seeing time was almost wasted, everyone started collecting rewards preparing to leave. I was indeed troubled. With so many people watching, the system shouldn't mess with me. At this time, Li Shixia asked, speaking of which, haven't we met somewhere before? Suddenly, a gift box dropped in front of him. The two old men opened their mouths wide. Because my gift box was obviously different from theirs, fortunately, size was the same. When I was about to open the box, their two faces leaned over. But what's there for you to see? The audience said they were too thick-skinned. If it were them, they'd also look. Buzzcut still looked unconvinced. I didn't bother with them anymore. The first reward was Roten's leather gloves with temperature regulation and magic enhancement abilities. Since the administrator wants to give me hero-level equipment, I have no need to refuse. The uncle glanced and left after all his people said this wasn't good equipment. Buzzcut said desperately, Big brother, let me unlock permissions. I didn't even look and refused. The second reward was still 5,000 gold coins. After seeing the rewards, everyone had to bid farewell and leave. The uncle finally thanked me gratefully. Buzzcut just nodded. The audience said that guy's mouth was glued shut. I said we just met by chance. Next time we meet, we might become enemies. Looking at the still smoking modified arm, I said I need to wait for it to cool down before leaving. At this time, my backpack was moving. Seeing this, I opened the zipper. 6 eyes were glowing golden inside. Suddenly, they all rushed out. I immediately felt something was wrong. They must have smelled the magic residue on the gloves. I quickly grabbed them. They struggled desperately. I said that can't be eaten. Hearing this, they looked at me pitifully. I said acting cute won't work either. Suddenly, Shisha's voice came from behind. Uncle, where are you holding? I immediately became flustered but didn't know how to make excuses. She had already frozen completely. It turned out that Papoise had unconsciously released a cuteness wave. This caused Li Shixia, who was just a student, to feel quite moved. Seeing this, I called her name to snap her back, then she pointed at me and cursed. Damn it, just wait and see. After saying this, she ran away, leaving me alone confused in the wind. But I didn't have that much time to waste. The audience were all worried about my body. Some also hinted the next floor doesn't need strength. I'd already let the Popois return to the backpack. They can't eat the gloves in there. After greeting everyone, I was ready to set off. One audience member directly revealed the 7th floor's content and was immediately kicked from the live stream. What I didn't expect was encountering the difficult wife killer demon from the video on the 7th floor. When I first saw him, I was still a bit panicked, though I only saw him through video. His cold-blooded and ruthless image was deeply imprinted in my mind. I quickly recovered my composure. He smiled and asked me, "What's your name?" "My name is Kim Jae-ju." "What about you?" Hearing this, he very gentlemanly bowed to me. "My name is Han Jae-shua." Seeing this, I walked forward and asked, "What did you do before entering the tower?" He didn't answer my question. So quick to probe for my intelligence. "You haven't even confirmed the trial content." I didn't say much more. Even having watched the video, I wasn't confident I could beat him. I pretended not to know and opened the introduction, as I thought it was a lie detection game. Simply put, the person first designated by the stone statue starts asking questions. If the stone statue's 3 eyes light up the same color simultaneously, it will be awakened, remaining silent or answering incorrectly. Misjudging the opponent's answer will receive punishment. The audience all felt sorry for me because the opponent clearly looked like a person without emotions. I was also thinking about how to induce him to lie. The waiting time quickly passed. The stone statue started shaking. First pointing at Han Jae-shua, he showed an intriguing expression. "Kim Jae-ju, did you know me before entering the tower?" The audience thought he was asking questions without thinking, but I knew my first reaction revealed a flaw, though he probably wasn't certain either. So I said I didn't know him. He decisively confirmed I was lying. The unknowing audience definitely thought he guessed wrong, but the result was beyond their expectations. The stone statue lit up with blue light, confirming correctness. Now was my turn to ask. If you were told to take someone's life and it wasn't a trial, you had no necessity to do so, would you still do it? Of course, I'd take however many lives. The result confirmed he was telling the truth. "Kim Jae-ju, did you already know the 7th floor's trial content?" "Nonsense. How could I possibly know?" He again judged I was lying. Result confirmed successful. At this point, I was already sweating coldly. Seems I shouldn't have questioned him right after entering. But I quickly calmed down. "You said you'd take however many lives. Then what if it included your wife? Would you harm her?" His poker face also showed some panic. Of course, I wouldn't harm my beloved wife. I decisively placed the sphere in the groove. Results confirmed successful. "Kim Jae-ju, did you already know I was married?" I said that's right. A stone statue remained silent. Now it was my turn to ask again. "If your wife came to the tower with you, would you harm her and abandon her in the wild because she hindered you?" Actually, I knew the stone statue judges whether we're lying based on objective facts, but the person's psychological factors also influenced the stone statue's judgment. He helplessly shook his head, saying he wouldn't do that. I exhaled heavily. "Yeah. Anyone with humanity definitely wouldn't do that, but you're lying." Results confirmed successful. He no longer hid his true nature, laughing maniacally there. "This is really interesting. Kim Jae-ju actually is your 2nd time entering the tower, right?" Hearing this, my heart trembled. After hesitating, I answered no. He showed a triumphant smile. "I advise you better not lie anymore." The next moment, he decisively put down the stone. Result confirmed. The stone statue shook violently, then leaned down in front of Han Jae-shua. "The god of music will impose punishment on user Han Jae-shua." He looked completely incredulous. While my gaze was extremely determined because I was certain I wasn't the Kim Jae-ju from the video, he still wanted to escape but was controlled by tentacles extending from the stone statue on his limbs. The stone statue had already raised the ice blade in its hand. Before dying, he still asked me, "Just who are you?" I hesitated before answering, "Just consider me someone who knew you before." After saying this, the stone statue's weapon had already fallen. Listening to the screams beside me, I couldn't bear to watch directly. The entrance to the 8th floor appeared accordingly. I said, "Let me confirm the rewards first." This time it was Roten's hero-level bracers with magic-breaking ability. This is indeed a good ability. I don't know why the administrator always gives me Roten series equipment. Now I've obtained the 3rd piece. I put on the bracers. With a thought, I made them change color. The second reward was still 5,000 gold coins. Then I'll head to the next floor. After greeting the audience, I walked into the portal. What met my eyes was a lush green forest. This floor is to eliminate all appearing enemies. The audience were all hinting at something in the comments. I didn't pay much attention, found a tree and closed my eyes. Time quickly arrived. Opening my eyes, I saw Papoys appearing before me one by one. Just their expressions didn't look too friendly, but I remained unhurried. Suddenly, one pounced at me. The other papoys also pounced at me, then rubbed against me. I could only silently endure this. I don't know if it's because I learned basic beast studies or because I developed feelings for them. Now, can sense their emotions. However, just as I was looking at these little cuties, my storage backpack opened by itself. Then my back suffered heavy hammering from 3 small ones. They puffed out their little faces as if expressing their dissatisfaction. One even climbed on top of my head, like declaring sovereignty. Only then did I realize they were jealous. Just then, the portal to the 9th floor appeared. Seeing this, I put the local potpourri back on the ground. The 3 little ones immediately became smug. They were indeed jealous. I also realized this place was like the 1st floor. As long as the potpourri had no hostility toward me, it was equivalent to eliminating all enemies. Now I finally had hands free to confirm rewards. A scroll dropped out of thin air. I immediately opened it to view with the 3 little ones. Life that inherited the will of the world tree Balanebo Urton. Life that was extremely sad due to the world tree's demise. Life that wants to cultivate new world tree sprouts. As long as your will is firm, the world tree will definitely regain vitality. Some said they couldn't understand, others understood clearly. I gazed at that somewhat different world tree in the distance, knowing this was about the 25th floor's trial content. After the world tree that suppressed demonic energy broke, Atro fell into great chaos. That twisted Atro world is where the 25th floor trial takes place. Then I walked to an open area, found a clean place and laid down directly. Sorry, guys. I need to sleep for a while. Not long after speaking, my snoring sounded. The powpoys all played around me. I don't know how much time passed. Though I still wanted to sleep more, my body felt particularly heavy. Don't know how many powpoys were pressing on me. When I got up, they all jumped away. I felt like I slept for about an hour. I said, I need to set off now. The love boss was quite concerned about me. Taking the 3 little ones to the portal, looking back, saw the local pope was all showing reluctant expressions. Though very reluctant, I knew they wouldn't abandon the world tree to leave with me. I could only smile and bid them farewell as I walked into the portal. The 9th floor is an intelligence trial similar to the 4th floor. Just here, there are 4 walls and only 2 hours. Seeing this, I could only sigh helplessly, evil administrator, you just can't stand seeing me pass easily. The audience also felt indignant for me, but actually this wasn't much. And now it's a 2-person cooperation trial. I went forward to greet her. She seemed startled. After coming to her senses, she removed her hood, revealing her beautiful face. Are those on your head real, Papoy? She suddenly grabbed my hand. My God. How did you do it? They're so cute. A fragrant scent wafted over. I said, let's pass the trial first then chat. As the audience joked, how dare she covet me, this emperor. Only then did she let go. Sorry, I was too excited. My name is Chun Shan. What about you? I also told her my name. Hearing her name, the audience chat became lively. I also knew she entered the tower in the same batch as me. Compared to her real name, her future nickname, which was more widely known. Many people were deceived by her kind appearance and fell victim to her. Her liking for papoys was just an act. Miss Chun, can you turn a 100 crystals the same color by yourself? She showed great effort, saying many brothers are helping her so she can try. Though 4 walls wouldn't be difficult for me. But I didn't want to attract Chen Xiaoyan's attention, so I slowed down. Even the audience could see this. I looked back and saw Chen Xiaoyan there complaining why it wouldn't work. I knew she was definitely pretending, but I couldn't be imprisoned here because of her, so I had to show some ability. After finishing my side, I took over her part. She also showed a very apologetic look. With 20 minutes remaining, I finished all the walls. That woman pounced over, my God, you're simply a genius. The audience all showed some dissatisfaction. I also pushed her away, saying, with your ability, finishing all 4 walls crystals wouldn't take an hour either, right? After being exposed, she stopped pretending. Her eerie smile made people's hair stand on end. Mr. Kim Jeju, just who are you? Could you really be entering the tower for the 2nd time? I countered, do you think that's possible? Though I also think it's unrealistic. But a brother who just came in insisted I ask. Seems Hanjishuo's people couldn't find my live stream. So they went to Chan Qian's stream wanting to inquire about me. Actually, I also don't think you're entering the tower for the 2nd time because you're too cautious, possibly reborn or transmigrated. Hearing this, my face darkened. Why would you think that? She said she used a replay ticket to watch my 7th floor trial, seeing me not like someone familiar with the tower, but rather very familiar with that person. I also knew this, which was difficult to deal with. If targeted, she'd chase me to the tower's end. I must get rid of her. Since you're so curious, I'll tell you. She suddenly pressed her face close. Are there conditions? You have to give me the robe you're wearing first, then I can tell you. She petrified on the spot while I said I was serious. If you're joking with me, I won't let you off. She started removing her robe with some annoyance, said, see? Now you can tell me, these audience members really like they've never seen women. I extended my hand, gaze never falling on her. What are you thinking? I want your robe. So she got even more annoyed. You really made me speechless. This is different from ordinary magic enhancement equipment. This is expensive robes. I put it on without any courtesy. She hugged her arms asking, now you should answer my question. First of all, I'm not entering the tower for the second time, nor did I transmigrate or reborn. I just understand this tower's mechanisms better than others. You mean you even know users' identity information? I just shrugged. This question you can only think about yourself. You can see she was holding back great anger. You still haven't told me the method. I said the robe exchange question was already answered. I don't need to say the rest. She was completely speechless, then laughed maniacally again. The 3 little ones were all scared. She finally recovered, though I can't accept your answer. You're quite interesting, and I prefer men with many secrets. The love boss told me not to bother with her. Seeing this, I also picked up the 3 little ones and politely dealt with it. Then turned to leave, but she called me back. At least tell me your real name. What, Kim Jae-ju? How could that kind of name be real? I suffered serious damage thinking, how can Kim Jae-ju not be a real name? I quickly ran into the portal. Finally arrived at the 10th floor. Here you can freely set live stream on off and change channels. Also can watch streamers below the 10th floor. Those audiences also receive certain compensation through my performance. I told them I was going to look around and turned off the live stream first. Then put the 3 little ones in the backpack, put on the hood before setting off, but I always had a sense of dissonance. At this time, a commoner bumped into a noble. I thought she was going to die, but the result was unexpected. That noble kindly comforted the commoner girl. I didn't expect nobles and commoners could coexist harmoniously, and he mentioned His Majesty, Cowley. Seems this place is different from before. Moments later by the fountain pool, a bald old man was feeding pigeons. I suddenly walked in front of him asking, may I sit beside you? After getting permission, I sat down. How long have you lived here? The old man answered harmoniously. Too long, I can't even remember. I continued asking, are you happy now? Happy? I don't even know if I still have that thing. After saying this, he threw feet on the ground. The pigeons flew away in panic, but one was firmly grasped in his hand. The pigeon wanted to struggle, but the big hand didn't move. The old man's face was no longer kind. While I remained very calm, what exactly are you thinking, administrator? Then he just glared at me and trapped me in a reading illusion. I knew this was the 15th floor trial ground, Talsha on the brink of destruction. In this 15th floor trial, endless magical beasts kept attacking. No matter how hard the challengers fought, the beasts only increased. This was an endless struggle, all because of that giant flower bud on the distant snowy mountain. That eerie thing called Seed Heart kept spewing out magical beasts. So before Talsha was completely destroyed, this place would repeat this nightmare forever. Even after destruction, this would only become a hell overrun by magical beasts. I was watching intently when suddenly a black shadow blocked my view. When I turned around, I saw a grotesque bloody maw lunging at me. I died. But I also woke up from that illusion. The administrator asked me what I thought after seeing the predetermined future. I said no matter how much you threaten me, my choice won't change. Even if it's a predetermined future, I've already changed it before. You should know this, since you've been monitoring me all along. The administrator restored his kindly smile. So you knew all along you really are suitable to become an administrator. I loudly objected, I'm different from Kim Jae-ju in the videos. Then do you know why those videos were sent to your phone? I honestly said I didn't know. But I would never accept your proposal to become administrator. Even if you threaten me with trials, bring it on. Then the pigeon's neck was snapped by him. Aren't you curious about what comes after the videos? If you're curious, I'll tell you. Go ahead. After all, knowing is better than not knowing. When the strangled pigeon flew away again, he slowly said, "Do you think this Atlua world was created just for users to enjoy the game?" Actually, I don't think so. If I thought it was fake, I wouldn't waste time playing the prince. I just killed Li Shansai directly. He saw I was negative, then told me there were several other administrator candidates besides me, all before I entered the tower. I asked him back, "According to you, there are many administrators here, or does the previous administrator automatically lose qualification after handover?" His tone became much gloomier. "There can only be one administrator. Those who leave this position all ended their own lives. I've tried my best to build this tower, even added the live streaming system you all like. But no matter how much I keep fixing it, this damn Atlo world keeps malfunctioning." With that, he stomped on the ground. The entire space trembled. I fix one side, the other side breaks down. This world's bugs are endless, just like that mechanical glove you made. An administrator is like a water tank, and Atlo is the water in the tank. I've been this tank for too long, so long I've lost myself. Forgotten the original intention of becoming administrator. I've lost joy, anger, sorrow, and happiness. The only thing I can feel is the sense of duty to fill the tank's water to the proper level. Other administrators are the same. As if they have OCD, they try every way to fill their tanks with water. But without exception, they all failed. Some because their tanks were too small, some because the water flow was too strong. But Kim Jeju, you're different. The water in your tank is filled to perfection, perfectly supporting at Luo. I asked him what those videos I received were exactly. He said they were the future after becoming administrator, which should be considered the past from now. Anyway, they were sent by the Kim Jeju in the videos. As for why he did this, I don't know. If I could see through people's hearts, I wouldn't be so troubled. Hearing this, I asked my final question. This place differs from my impression of the 10th floor. Is there any special reason related to my 5th floor trial? Hearing this, he burst out laughing. I knew you were more suitable to be administrator than anyone. Your current actions are extremely similar to how he managed this tower. Seeing you put Atlo back on track, I understand Kim Jeju. You're someone who will never change. I knew he meant I would still become administrator to change this tower, but I challenged him, stop dreaming. Even if you say this, I won't become administrator. Hearing this, he stopped talking. His body twisted with bones creaking, then he turned into a pigeon and flew away. His clothes also vanished before my eyes, as if he had never been here. Now I really want to know why the Kim Jeju in the videos sent me those videos. Looks like I can only climb to the top of the tower. Then the popos emerged from my backpack. One of them licked me frantically. I knew they were trying to comfort me. Then I reopened the livestream page. Surprisingly, I only lost a few fans. Seems only those few were from the 10th floor. Makes sense. Those who saw Papoy on the 1st floor and stayed till now must be skilled and somewhat perverted big shots. At this moment, a pop-up appeared asking if I wanted to join the trending live streams. Thinking about the threats among Han Jihua and Qin Xiaoyan's fans, I decisively canceled it. The stream officially started. I immediately welcomed the viewers. The love asked why I closed the stream. I brushed it off saying I had something to do. I didn't know this big shot was actually a little fangirl. No wonder Qin Xiaoyan told me to ignore her before. After reaching the 10th floor, first came to Clay Workshop. Originally, this was Pulan Workshop. Don't know how it became Clay's. I walked into the house. Inside was only an unfamiliar uncle. I see you look like a traveler. Let me say up front, I don't take rush orders. I just asked if Master Pulan was here. Looked at me like I was an idiot. If you want the best craftsman, you should go to the Imperial City. The viewers all guessed this was the administrator's doing. I told him I wanted to fix something. If it's inconvenient, could you lend me the workbench and materials to fix it myself? Hearing I knew something about magical engineering, his attitude changed. We introduced ourselves to each other. Then I took out the mechanical glove. He could tell at a glance it was something I rushed to make and knew the glove's magic circuit was dangerous. He agreed to help me fix it and reminded me to find some magic stones to test it. Though from the 10th floor you can trade in the community window. It only has items matching the 10th floor. Magic stones are rare. I could only try my luck at the offline auction house, supposedly a place only rich people can go. But buying things there has a downside. It won't show equipment information. Users can only buy based on feeling. Actually, what I want more is a blood garnet, but that's even harder to find. Then someone called me from behind. Are you a user? I see you're wearing robes, must be a mage, right? Before I could answer, he called over a girl. They started showing off their relationship right in front of me. He told me not to go to the free auction house because he couldn't get in even with 10,000 gold coins, and you can't see equipment info either. Alright, would you like to join our team? We can help you quickly pass the 11th floor. Actually, I knew that from the 10th floor onwards, after passing each floor, users can return to the 10th floor's free area. Seems they lack a mage. So I turned around saying I had business at the auction house. But that woman came up and grabbed my arm. Brother, let's find a place to chat. I immediately shook her off. Really no need, and I'm not a mage. The guy also came forward yelling, you don't have to push people just because you won't go. We can't force you anyway. I knew I was a bit excessive. I simply apologized and wanted to leave, but these two kept muttering behind me. Brat, let's see if you can even get in. Sure enough, I was stopped. If you're a traveler, please prove you have entry qualifications. I showed my gold coins. They immediately respectfully let me through. I politely nodded to those two idiots. Their expressions were priceless. I walked straight to the front desk. Didn't expect they required identity verification here too, but I hesitated to write. The viewers started teasing me. After some struggle, I still wrote Kim Jeju's name, but the result didn't match. I could only sigh helplessly, then added the number 2 after Kim Jeju. I really shouldn't have been so careless back then. I removed my hood as required, then headed down to the main hall. Soon I spotted a familiar face. I went over to greet her. Hello. We meet again. Lee Shiksa didn't expect to run into me here either. With her permission, I sat across from her. A server came over asking what we'd like to drink. I just ordered water. Lee Shiksa ordered a cola. After the drinks arrived, we sat in relative silence. After a moment, she asked what I came to buy. I honestly told her I wanted magic stones, since she'd seen my magic stones had no energy in previous battles. Then we had nothing to say again. Viewers said the awkwardness was deadly. Suddenly, blushed and thanked me. I said it was all for passing trials. No need to mind it. Actually, I felt quite guilty since that trial was so difficult because of me. Then I changed the subject asking why she always wore a school uniform. She said this uniform held many memories for her. I nodded saying she should indeed cherish it. Actually, I wanted to build a good relationship with her. After she passes the 15th floor, she'll become a top-tier expert. So I invited her to add me as a friend. She looked at me somewhat surprised. I said, though we're not real friends, we could help each other. She hesitated for a long time before accepting. Then she asked me, Uncle, how did you become so close with Papoy? I said, that's a trade secret. She angrily called me stingy. Just then, the auction start announcement was broadcast. She changed from her previous sweet demeanor to coldly say, how annoying. Soon after I came to the auction hall and sat down. First, I had to wait for the auctioneer to finish a bunch of nonsense. Then came the first item, a red earth dragon egg. Though I studied magical beast science and could tame it, but when grown it's 3 meters long, being with it would be too conspicuous. Before I knew it came the 8th item. The auctioneer said it was a very mysterious piece. A necklace from Duke Clardy's daughter. Maker unknown, materials unknown, starting price 10,000 gold coins. Many people thought this was just a decorative piece at most. I immediately raised my paddle. I bid 10,000 gold coins. But in this auction house, even users can't see item properties. Most people treated it as a decorative piece. Just when I thought I had it, customer 47 called out 11,000 gold coins. She was the locally famous gem enthusiast Greydale. The Dale family business did involve magic stones. But I heard this younger daughter wasn't interested in business matters. Could she also see this was the rare blood garnet? She noticed my gaze and even winked at me. I was immediately furious. Right away called out the high price of 12,000, but that woman pursued relentlessly. Finally, bid up to 20,000 gold coins. Though blood garnet is indeed a treasure, I don't absolutely need it right now. This time, I'll just buy a regular magic stone. While I was thinking, customer 70 called out 21,000 gold coins. That person was Lee Shiksa. So the two women staged another chase. Lee Shiksa finally won the necklace for 30,000 gold coins. Though missing the blood garnet was a bit disappointing, luckily, I only spent 6,000 gold coins to get a decent magic stone. Then I noticed Lee Shiksa standing at the door. She played with the blood garnet and said to me, why so slow? I thought you left first. Before I could speak, she held the necklace out to me. It's for you. Hurry up and take it. I looked at her puzzled. Why give it to me? She was displeased with my look, then directly stuffed the necklace into my hands. Take it since I'm giving it. I won't take it back. This is also a magic stone, right? Seeing you were so obsessed with it, I figured it out, but I'm still curious why she spent so much to buy it for me. She became a bit embarrassed. Didn't you say you wanted to be friends? It's normal for friends to give gifts. I was about to say something when she turned to leave. Don't pretend not to know me when we meet again. As viewers said, good thing she doesn't know I'm live streaming, or her expression would be priceless. I was still puzzling over why she gave this to me. Could it be she saw my good performance last time and wants to build a relationship, but she's not that type of person. Women's hearts are really hard to guess. Li Shiksa hadn't gone far when she muttered, "Does this uncle really not remember me?" When she was little, she was worrying about why the new school's uniform was so expensive. I happened to come out of the principal's office then, I casually mentioned. Little sister, listen well to the principal. Li Shiksa didn't think much of it. She went into the office and told the principal about not having money for uniforms. The principal told her not to worry. Someone just sponsored our school to buy uniforms for the children. Maybe the sponsor was embarrassed. They asked me to keep it secret from you all. Li Shiksa immediately thought of the uncle who just left. Forget it. It doesn't matter if she doesn't remember me. After leaving the auction house, I came to Clay workshop. Clay didn't expect me to come early. I examined what he was making. It looked familiar. After he explained, I realized this was my glove, completely different from before. Clay laughed heartily. We magical engineers like to do our best. So I also took out the necklace, but this blood garnet is smaller than I thought. I was going to ask you to adjust the socket size. Didn't expect you already did it almost perfectly. Clay gestured for me to relax. When I first saw this glove structure, I discovered it needed magic stone consumption. I also know each magic stone varies in size, so I added a mechanism to the glove, allowing it to use different sized magic stones. Let me demonstrate directly. He pressed the button on the glove. The magic stone installation socket appeared. Then, he placed the blood garnet on it. 5 fixing brackets firmly secured the blood garnet. This way, you don't need to worry about magic stone size. To replace magic stones, just press that button twice. I was so moved, but you made it so well, the cost. The love immediately said, if money's not enough, just ask. But Clay chuckled, I found fixing this quite interesting, so no charge. I still need an hour to finish up, wait outside. An hour later, I walked out of Clay workshop. Viewers wanted me to stay and tour the 10th floor, but I said no. I plan to challenge the 11th floor tomorrow. As for tonight, I'll get a good sleep, but while sleeping soundly, I felt something moving around on me. It was one of the pulpoi. The stomach was growling. Suddenly, it opened its mouth wide at me. Turns out, it was just washing my face. I asked what's wrong. I saw it smacking its little mouth, then rubbing against me. The other two also came over making noise. I could tell they were hungry. I told them to wait, then open the live stream. Surprisingly, viewer count reached 200. I thought, don't people sleep? Only 227 total fans. Looks like they were all waiting for me to stream. Then I took out the magic stone I bought for 6,000 gold coins. Without blinking, I threw it to the 3 little ones. They immediately devoured it. A viewer asked if I'd thought of a name for the glove. When I first put on the glove, could directly feel it was much better than before. But Clay refused any payment, only asking me to give it a good name. I said the name needs careful thought. After all, random naming would make my promise to Clay meaningless. After organizing, I came to the teleport gate outside the city. Though it's in the middle of the road, actually only users can enter teleport gates. At Luo locals can't even see them. I didn't expect so many people even in a quiet channel. A viewer asked why I don't join a team before challenging, since randomly matched teammates are usually trash. I know from the 11th floor there are many cooperative trials. Most users join teams through recruitment posts before challenging. Actually, I'd like to cooperate with viewers who followed me since the 1st floor. But not knowing what the administrator will do on the 11th floor. Better check it myself first. I don't want to drag down these loyal viewers. As for difficulty, there's no need to worry as long as the administrator doesn't go too far. Hard mode isn't difficult for me. After selecting, I walked into the teleport gate. Right after entering, I saw a man and woman. This floor's trial requires 3 users to battle monsters and achieve victory. The lady saw my robes and immediately beamed with joy. I politely greeted them before walking over. Also secretly assessed their weapons. No wonder they were so excited seeing my outfit. The male knight pointed at my glove asking, "You're a mage, right?" I honestly told them I was a magical engineer. Hearing this answer, they looked quite troubled. The female knight also said the situation wasn't optimistic, asking how much support equipment I prepared. I said I only brought one. She looked even more disappointed. Soon.
Alright, that's the end of the story. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.